Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Well, yesterday, the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, declared a nationwide security emergency. This is in the wake of, heightened insecurity incidents in the country. Well, this is a very, the police and army have been authorized to recruit an additional 20,000 officers, bringing the total to 50,000 now. And the president had said yesterday that even though he had earlier, approved the upgrade of police training facilities, the police are now authorized to go ahead and take on 20,000 more officers, bringing the total to 50,000. And that would give some indication as to the seriousness with which government, and in particular President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is taking this heightening of insecurity. Well, our guest this morning is His Grace Archbishop Chiver Chianson, Secretary General, Charismatic Bishops Conference of Nigeria, and General Secretary, as a matter of fact, General Secretary, Christian Association of Nigeria, Benue State Chapter. Thank you very much, Your Grace, for coming on the program.
Thank you so much, and good morning, Nigerians.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, interestingly, I think it was in May or so that you had prevailed upon the president to declare an emergency in the security sector, if I'm not misreading that. And here we are, it has been done. So maybe I'd first of all find out what your thoughts are on where we find ourselves and that the authorities are handling at the moment as we speak.
Okay, thank you so much one more time. I want to say that it is quite disappointing where we find ourselves currently now, but then I want to believe that God is working, for the good of Nigeria to have someone like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in power, who is a listening president. Now, for him to declare a state of emergency in the area of security in the nation, there wouldn't have been a best decision than this one at this moment in time. Indeed.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, in relation to the sort of, we've been hit, rapid fire by these insecurity challenges. On the one hand, there's the Christ Apostolic Church in Eruku incident, you remember? And then there's St. Mary's Catholic School in Papiri. And just, lately, yesterday we were celebrating, with caution and respect, the abduction of girls, Government Girls Secondary School, MAGA, in Kebbi State. So the way this is going on, and then in particular, we've been getting some. Well, yesterday we were using the expression the girls have been rescued, or they have escaped, or they are freed. Do you have any thoughts on the conversation that is ongoing now, that what is going on here? Yes, we're very, very happy to have our students back, our youths back, but we don't have any further information. We don't have any information as to whether arrests were made, and people are not sort of sure. Your Grace, do those sort of things bother you, or should we just not be looking a gift horse in the mouth?
Well, this is certainly not where we expected that we will find ourselves as a nation. I want to say that this is a plot against the Nigerian state. This is not the Nigeria that we had dreamed of, But however, first and foremost, we would like to send our condolences and apologies to families and victims, who have been ravaged, and so they know that the leaders, the church leaders, stakeholders in the government as well. We care about them, and we sympathize with them, and we are actually trying to work together with government to ensure that these incidents come to an end entirely. So, but then I want to say that for all that is going on, it is rather a plot against, or it is a genocide against the true Nigerians, not against a particular group. It's against the true Nigerians. That's the way we want to put it. And those of us that are true Nigerians, we're teaming up together, we're standing with government to make sure that all of this is brought to an end, to make sure that the enemies are being smoked out of their holes and they're being sent packing, from our own communities. That's yes, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Your Grace, because you touched on a very, very important aspect of our troubles in recent times. This whole matter of allegations, accusations of genocide in Nigeria, coming, from America principally, and this was as a result of our own nationals. You can have enemies within who are trying to persuade them that Nigeria is in a dire state. It is actually, killing themselves, one religion or the other. And there are many who have said, who have spoken along the lines that you have just spoken, that this is not factual. There is no genocide in that accepted sense of one religion seeking to exterminate another. Could you just look at that particular narration, that narration of enemies of the country? Let us call it what it is. Enemies of the country.
Thank you so much. Now, actually, the narrative, so far has not been correct. Because you see, if you say it's a genocide against a particular religion, you may be offending the sensibilities of the other brothers in the other religion. And you may be, excuse me to use the word, pissing on the graves of the brothers of the other religions who have been victims of the same attacks. So this is rather, the Americans need to get this information right. Statistically, this is rather, an attack, a genocidal attempt against the real Nigerians. It's not against just one religion, because virtually, all the religions are victims of these incidences.
Okay, indeed.
Yes.
Because that is the explanation. Please continue, sir.
And more to that, I'd like to say that, quite frankly, the government have their responsibility, the international community have their responsibility, and the citizens also have their responsibility. As for us, the Charismatic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, we don't want to dwell on the problems. We want to dwell rather on the solutions. We are more solution driven. So when we talk about these things, we don't want to heat up the polity, by pointing finger. We want to be more solution driven to make sure that we cooperate together, that all hands are put on deck to ensure that government is given the enablement to take care of this problem, so that we'll begin to chart a better course in our nation. So I want to believe that should be the thinking of other leaders as well. We want to really encourage, all men, well-meaning Nigerians, want to encourage, leaders of church blocks, want to encourage the traditional rulers, want to encourage leaders at community levels to ensure that government gets the cooperation that she needs to take care of this problem. And I have actually, itemized, a few ways in which, these threats can be combated. Okay. And if you give me time, just a few minutes, I'll let you have a bit of it.
Please share with us.
Okay. Now, for us to be able to combat these threats, to start with, we need information gathering. That's where we need to start from. Information must be gathered. Now, there are different ways of gathering information. In the past, I don't know whether we still do this now. Directorate of State Security Services and other security agencies. We have a situation where you have cobblers who are being positioned in communities and so on, just to gather information. Okay. We have motorbike men who do that. We have also hawkers who do that. Now, information gathering is key.
Your Grace, you're talking about undercover work by the intelligence agencies.
Yes, undercover work, and then and especially, the use of advanced technology. If we are able to, take advantage of these avenues, we'll be able to gather information, because for you to be able to combat threats, you must be able to gather information. Now, the other aspect of gathering information, I call it, because I'm from a consultant background, I'd work with a consultant firm. Now, we call it the acquisition of loyalty. Acquisition of what this means is that now there are some persons that get into these activities, terrorism or kidnapping, or banditry. They get into these activities for economic reasons. Now, we want to encourage the government that when you fish these people out and you're able to do some background check on them, you can actually buy their loyalty, and they'll give you all the information that you need. We have a situation like that also in Scripture, in the Bible, where a man was being let, because he was ill. A king left him, and King David came and found the man. He resuscitated him, and this same man King David resuscitated gave King David all the information that King David needed to conquer, the enemies. So we call it, acquisition of loyalty. And then the other one is called the planting of supplies. These are things that I may not really want to go deep into it, because they are, security informations. But then the government can actually, plant supplies, and through that, you get to trace where these people are, from where they operate, their hideouts, and all of that, and so on. And that's just about gathering information. There's also the aspect of strategic partnership. We're looking at government partnering with countries that have common interests. Now, this government already knows about that. I know President Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows about that, and we know they are doing that as well. There's another very important aspect. I really want to call on this government to do this. We call it the witness protection and reward system. Now, some people have vital information for government, but they may not speak because they are afraid, will they be protected? Will their families be protected? So the government will have to look at that direction, witness protection and the reward system. That's critically important. And just two more quick points. The aspect of government must connect with the citizens and her audience. Now, this simply means there must be continuous stakeholder engagement. At various levels, government should be able to continually engage, stakeholders, and that is critically important as well. A government will also have to ensure, that we raise, the standard of living in Nigeria, and I want to give President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a big kudos, so far, beginning from the regime of the palliatives and the student loans, the CMG buses, and the developmental strides we've seen of this government. If you come into Abuja, the FCT, you see what this government is doing through the Minister of FCT. And the government has also been looking at the area of food security. We are aware aware of all of this. So there is so much to be done, but most importantly, I'd like to say that Nigerians will have to learn to cooperate with government. If we don't cooperate with government, if we keep having, that negative thought about government, then there's very little government can do. Even Jesus Christ could not perform miracles in his own hometown, though he had all the powers, but they said he could dare do no mighty works because the people did not believe him. They did not cooperate with him. So Nigerians, it's time to cooperate with government so government can bring out their best.
Thank you very much, Your Grace. But I just wanted to clear one point. You said that one of the things government could do is the acquisition of loyalty. And I just wanted to clear that up because Reverend Dominic has been waiting for a while. Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. I'm coming to you shortly. Let the Archbishop just air this point. You were speaking in a metaphoric sense, were you not, when you were speaking about the acquisition of loyalty? You're not talking about exchanging money or anything like that, buying loyalty. I just wanted to clear that up.
Well, I'm going to clear that up. It's a security strategy, so I'm not going to be doing all the details on television right now.
I see.
The fact of the matter is that to acquire a loyalty, you must come down to the nitty-gritty. What is it that's making some persons loyal to the bandits or loyal, to the kidnappers or to the terrorists? Now, if you trace all of this, you discover that there are also economic reasons as well. Now, if government is going to be able to do background checks and study all of this and identify some of them, definitely their loyalty can be acquired. That's basically what I see, and it is being done. Even the Western world, they do it a lot. The security agencies, they know what I'm talking about.
All right. Reverend Dominic, I want to thank you profoundly for your patience. Please go ahead now, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Chief Yori. Good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Yori, good morning, please.
I think that Mr. President is in government for such a time as this. And this is my personal opinion, Yori. I don't know who could have handled this matter, which you are having now, this security issue, except the Tinubu administration. And the Tinubu as a person, a man of courage. That's my personal opinion. Someone may differ. He has done well. But you're also a listener, like the last government we have, that was playing like deaf and dumb. And do you remember sometimes in April or March, April, when we have so-called the massacre of the so-called hunters from Sokoto who come to Edo to hunt, and something happened. I called on this station that we need security emergency. Let me say this again. This of genocide, I'm a pastor. I'm coming to that. This of genocide, a pastor was killed in Enugu a few days ago. Is this Christian genocide against Christians in Enugu? So that's a different thing. This one we need this security emergency. To address issues the way they are. This pastor that was killed in Enugu, is this a Christian? Genocide against a Christian. But we know what happened in Enugu. We know who committed crime in Enugu. Like the bishop in your studio. I want to say he's a little bit economic with the truth. I have praised Mr. President for this security emergency. I've been calling it over and over and over. If you remember this program, even last week when we were discussing about it, I talked about security emergency. So I address the whole issue holistically. But the problem here who's talking is economical. The truth is this: there's Christian genocide in Nigeria. If you cannot agree with me, I will play a bill in Television's house or anywhere. We come together and bring facts and figures. It didn't start with this administration. It didn't start with Buhari. There have been Christian massacres in the northern states. My pastor was killed and his wife was killed. If the man there says it's not true, let's go to another platform. I will take the bill. When he brought his facts, I bring my facts. We come to conclusion. There's a genocide here. But do you see that there's a multifaceted issue? The Boko Haram, the bandits, the IPOP, the ECN, there's a lot to handle at the same time. But thank God that it's a security emergency now. We're trying to see the blueprint and how to handle it. We're in a terrible time, and nobody should play politics now. We should support the Mr. President to fight this hidden monster. But my bishop there, you're not truthful. There's a Christian genocide in Nigeria. Good morning, Nigerians.
Well, thank you, Reverend Dominic. Archbishop Chiansin, did you want to respond to that, especially the aspect about the economy that you are applying to the truth, allegedly, by that by the Reverend?
Well, thank you so much, Reverend Dominic. You probably are not listening to me. Maybe, I'm looking at the bigger picture. Now, listen, I did not say there's no attempt, to commit some kind of genocide. Now, what I said is that it's genocide against the real Nigerians, genocide, against the real Nigerians. Now, there may be Christians, there may even be Muslims or traditionalists. Now, you cannot tell me, for sure, Reverend, that the only victims have been Christians. There have been victims across the board. Yes, I would agree with you that because, simply because, most of the victims have been Christians, and most of the attacks, in percentage, have been, towards the churches and all of that. But that does not erase the fact that some mosques and some Muslims have not been attacked, if you check your statistics. So what I'm simply saying is that I'm saying that let's not play on the sensibilities of other Nigerians. Now, if someone is attacked, he's first and foremost a Nigerian, as a matter of fact. Then he would now be, member of a particular family and then belonging to a particular religion. So, what I'm simply saying is that those that are attacking us, most of the times, some of them are even foreigners. The last government, brought up information for us that some of these people, they don't even speak English. They speak French. They can't even speak the normal Hausa that those of us in the north, usually speak. So, you can't call those people Nigerians, and they are the ones encouraging this. The encouragement comes mostly from outside our country. The weapons that they get, these weapons are not manufactured in Nigeria. These weapons are manufactured out there. The suppliers bring them from out there. So Nigerians, some of these Nigerians are simply used. So all I am saying here, the problem did not start today. You're right. Right from the time of Metasine crisis, right from the time of the military regime in Nigeria, President Obasanjo had his own share of it. Boko Haram started at that time, and then down to Jonathan, down to Buhari, then we now started seeing ISIS and all of that and so on. Now, President Tinubu only inherited this crisis, and so far, President Tinubu, has been very relentless in ensuring that this is being sorted out, even from the manner of appointments he made. It's the first time that you see that someone from Southern Kaduna, a military man from Southern Kaduna, is made, the chief of the service chief, the chief of army staff. Why? Because he is trying to make sure that Nigerians become very confident, of the decisions that this government, are making. So I'm not being economical with the truth. I just don't want to play with the sensibilities of other Nigerians.
Okay, thank you very much, Archbishop Chiansin, and thank you very much, Benga in Abuja. You've been holding on for quite a while. Please go ahead now.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mr. Yori. Good morning to your guests. I want to comment on this issue.
Sure.
The president has done something that gladdened my heart by declaring a state of emergency on security nationwide. This has come to show that we can solve our problem ourselves. I mean, the president, even before the Trump threats or invasion or whatever, he changed the service chief.
Yes.
I mean, it shows that he really has the plan, security in one of as a burning issue in his agenda. But all that he's doing now, recruitment of more police, more army, will not achieve much if there's no state and community-based police and forest guards to support them. Let me tell you, Mr. Yori, we're in the north here, and I travel far, to all parts of the north, east, north, east, and thereabouts. There was a time I left Kirby, in 2015, I left Kirby 4 p.m. in the evening. I got to Sanford around 9 p.m. I was still able to get to Katsina by past 12 midnight, passing through Kankara. Those who know the north know what I'm talking about. There was no threat to my life, 2015. But you can't try today now. That route now, from 7 o'clock, they block the route. They will never allow you to pass because the media will say it's not safe. And we can't continue like this. We can only achieve, because security is local, we can only achieve when the state supporting in creating state police. All those kidnapped children now, who are the people feeding them? Are they sorting them in the forest? Are they keeping? It shows that the community where those bandit the children and other kidnapped victims in Kwara, it shows that the community are supporting them. They are working for them. And we can only counter the forest, this banditry, when there is state-based police on community basis. That is, each community, they employ people in the community to be the state policemen who know all the routes in the bush, in the forest, who know that if a stranger enters this community today, they can easily swing you out. Mr. Yori, our forest is porous and occupied by these bandits because nobody trouble them. Okay. You have a well-trained, well-equipped forest guard with AK-47 and other superior weapons than the bandit. The bandit will leave the forest, they will draw their gun, and kidnapping will come to an end in Nigeria. Without the state supporting Mr. President, whatever he will do, he cannot. How many millions of policemen and soldiers will he employ to cover our forest? So the state governor has to adopt this state police. I just time to pass it. During Buhari, only 15 states adopted it. Okay. I mean, I will sign it, endorse it. The remaining could not sign it. Now we have 26 APC states. We know only 24. Let them do it. We need state community policing as of yesterday. How can they kidnap 300 children and nobody challenge them? Until they carry them away? Because there's no state and community police. This is the only thing that can solve the problem. And the Southwest has shown it in the Amotekun model. Today, our forest is safe because Amotekun are combing it. Credit to the late Governor Akeredolu, who made sure that they did not penetrate in Ondo State. Now they want to penetrate through Kwara, and they are afraid because Amotekun are waiting for them. This is what we need now. It can work in Southwest, the most secure region in the whole Nigeria. It can work anywhere. We need to have community police. Thank you, Mr. Yori. Thank you very much, Gwenga. I appreciate your calling in. Archbishop Chanson, what are your thoughts on, state police that that viewer was advocating so strongly there?
Thank you so much. Well, I want to really apologize and I beg to differ. I don't believe that Nigeria is ripe for state police at the moment. You see what happened in the Wadata Plaza at the PDP Secretariat a couple of days back? That's the future of state police in Nigeria. And that's what we don't want, where one man, one governor, stands, and marshals out, instructions and all of that, and without discretion, without, a reasoning, no balance and all of that, just for his own selfish or his own political gain. Now, I believe community policing, community policing,
or state police.
Something we should look at,
state police
and deepen it.
Is different from community police. Is that what you're saying, sir?
Community policing.
As opposed to state police.
Yes, not state police.
Okay.
Not, I don't think Nigeria is ripe to have, a state,
I just wanted to be clear.
Owning the police force. That's just what I'm saying. So community policing is the right thing. Engaging, forest guards and engaging all the paramilitary and all of that and so on will be steps in the right direction. Most importantly, I'm really happy that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has given instruction for the employment of 20,000 more policemen. But what we need to be looking at, the ratio of the police to the citizens. You know, the ratio of the policeman, you know, one policeman to how many citizens now?
Okay.
You know, that counts. It's the same thing in our educational system. If you want education, you know, to be, you want it to be impactful, you want to make impact in the classroom, you must look at teacher-students ratio. So those are the issues that I think the government should take a good look at. And what still, sir? Now, you're talking about state policing, and you know very well there's been a lot of hues and cries about herdsmen attacks. Now, it just so happens that most of these herdsmen are said to be Fulanis. And you also know that there are states that are being led by Fulanis. So you definitely create some kind of crisis when you have a situation where other Nigerians they're definitely not going to trust the system anymore. If you have a state led by Fulanis and they're crying that, you know, the persons that they saw, you know, attacking them, they dressed probably like Fulanis, or they're chanting, you know, Islamic, you know, and speaking, you know, the Fula language and all of that, some Nigerians will become very insecure, and there's going to be mass exodus, you know, from those states, you know. So right now, having the police being led and being controlled by the federal government is what gives a lot of Nigerians a succor and gives them the assurance that justice would be done.
Okay. Your Grace, you explained in, you know, before we went on break that you didn't fully adopt the matter of state police. Okay, I'm going to come back to that because I've just been reminded now that there's a valued viewer who actually, you know, has been holding on all through the break. Good morning. Good morning. This is Mr. Joshua in Irewolede. Good morning to you, sir. Please go ahead now.
Good morning. Thank you so much. And thank you. I really appreciate your guest for his courage, for his truthfulness in this very difficult time. It is very difficult to be courageous and speak to the truth when the narrative is often against, maybe the minority that are willing to say the truth. He should not change his stand. There's no Christian genocide in Nigeria. It's a political statement. There were times when there was religious riot in Nigeria. We were left on our own. I was in the north. I escaped there twice, right, because of those religious riots. We know those things happened. But we are talking about the moment where we are having this banditry and all these killings in the Middle Belt. I'm from the Middle Belt too. These are not issues of religious war. People are not fighting because they are Christians or Muslims. Like he said, economic gain. And there are so many things that are happening that, we need to interrogate. What the international community said, even in US, is that it is wrong to put everything in one basket and say there is Christian genocide. We are politicizing the matter. So the fact that he is coming out to say the truth, I love it. You see, the people who promoted this Christian genocide are addressing something different, which is against Nigeria. So Reverend Dominic, for example, said a killing happened in Enugu. I asked, was it Muslims or Fulani herdsmen that did that killing in Enugu? People are killing themselves.
Yes, exactly. He himself stated as much.
Yeah,
you're right.
He stated it because the killing in Enugu, or whatever killing that is happening in the East, is Christians killing Christians. But Americans are not aware of that because they don't know our situation here. So we should stop all this politicizing security matter and cheapening, what could have actually solved the problem. There are killings in Nigeria, and it is killings against Nigerians. Every blood matter. Every life matter. Whether it's a Muslim or a Christian, right? We have security issues. Those issues should be addressed. But finally, please, the communities in these places where these things are happening, there are complicit members in those communities. Remember that this is a time of smartphone. So most of these people could be in alliance with the bandits. Community members are calling them. They are connecting to them. So because of all these bounties, sharing money and all that, economic issues, there are complicit members in those communities. Right. Government should fish out those things, because if they don't tackle the problem from those places, they will continue to have resurgence or reoccurrence of kidnappings, and it is being done by the locals. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, and especially for your patience, staying right through the break. Well, Your Grace, you had explained earlier, or at least you had said earlier, that you weren't really ready to adopt this the suggestion of state police for the reasons that you gave. You had, said perhaps, forest guards, those might be better. But as you know, you've said it, you've also said it when you were speaking, that these people often are armed, financed, funded from abroad. The forest guards, our forest guards, will not be allowed to bear sophisticated arms. Now, how much good can the forest guards do when they have, if not AK-49s, at least AK-47s trained on them? So when you say you would rather vote for forest guards, would they not be vulnerable to the superior firepower of these criminals?
Okay, thank you so much. I was using, certain terms, that we use when we don't want to divulge all the information on television. Well, I said something like state policing, or you want to call it community policing, but then, when you're talking about forest guards being involved at this level, definitely they're going to be working, hand in hand with the police. Now, they'll definitely have some training, some more trainings. They're definitely going to have, some assistance, and they'll also, sometimes they are being merged with some police forces because they know these areas. They know the hideouts, they know the routes, they know, who is who in the community. And most times you just have to blend them up, with some other police or some other security, forces, and they'll provide, the map. They provide, all the information. They provide, everything that, those that are armed for real, who have the responsibility, to execute, force. They provide information for them. See, Nigeria, we must be very careful about this nation, Nigeria. Now, our democracy still has, some way to go. We still need to grow. Our democracy needs to grow. Our understanding needs to grow, and all of that. If at this point, at the level we are at, you start providing, submachine guns or AK-47s to people who are not properly trained or well informed, then would simply, exacerbate the entire situation. So we must be very, very careful with what we do. Now, when I was talking about state police, I was simply saying that, our democracy would have to grow a little bit more. We need people who will come into this democracy, and have, the mindset, of the founding fathers of our nation. So far, so much, has been lost, along the journey, along the way, and so much waters have gone under the bridge, but we must be very, very careful. State policing or community policing, yes to it. But state police, I beg to differ. Because we saw it.
Well, sorry, I want to be clear,
Plaza,
sir.
Things did not go wrong.
Your Grace, as you from time to time you mention community police and state policing in the same breath. But I think, to be clear, you have said that we are not ready for state police yet. I think that is...
No, not... what I'm saying is that a state government, cannot been made to have the preeminence or own their own police force,
yes,
and have the constitution amended, that they are the state governor will be totally in control, and the state in control of that police force.
You don't think we're ready for that
to
yet?
Deploy police. No, we're not ready for that. But for the police at the national level for the Inspector General of Police to deploy his men, to work and cooperate at the state level, and for the state governors to oversee them, for the state government, because they have security votes, by the way, for the state governors, to also provide, the enablement for them to succeed, at that level, for them to be given the cooperation that they need. And for that blend, we call it, state level policing, so that, because the people at the federal level, if they get down to the state, there's no cooperation. If the people at the state don't own it, if they don't own the operation, then it's going to be very difficult for them to achieve any success, whether it is Operation Ayamak Patema or it is whatever operation it is from the military and so on. If the state own it, if they own that operation, then there will be success in their mission.
Okay.
So that's what the state or community based, in other words, you work together and you benefit from information, you benefit from the contributions and the cooperation of the people in the state and the community.
All right. Okay. And
that's what I'm talking about.
My next guest, Dr. Olatoye Drosimi, calling in from Lekki, is a retired policeman, AIG retired. Good morning, Dr. Drosimi.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. I want to congratulate the president for declaring state of emergency. This is long overdue. I said in this program sometimes ago that the Constitution in Section 14, subsection B, says that security and welfare of the citizens shall be the primary purpose of government. Now, those who frame the Constitution know that security is very important, and we can build roads, we can build bridges, but if there is no security, you can never make use of it. I congratulate the president, but in addition, we need to recruit police and the military, the army, massively, but we must be very careful, so that we not go and recruit wrong people.
Okay, but before you go, sir, the police, the president has just bumped up from initially 20,000 officers. He has said that go ahead and raise the level of recruitment to 50,000, and that's up from 20,000 that he had earlier approved. Furthermore, as you know, he has said that in the meantime, go and use National Youth Service Corps, facilities for specialist training that His Grace spoke about earlier. Are those also what we should, and he said that by the time we take all these VIP guards, we take a lot of them away from that function to this more important function, at least we will be seen to be addressing the matter, if not entirely solving it. So, Dr. Drosimi, your thoughts on that as a retired policeman yourself?
Yeah, I agree we need to recruit more policemen and 50,000, but we must be very careful about the caliber of people we are recruiting.
Okay.
When you do massive recruitment, something may happen, both in the police and the army. Even the so-called Boko Haram can find their way into the army, can find their way into the police. We must be very careful. We must take our time. In our days in the police, policemen are recruited every month, properly screened, and ensure that the best ones are coming into the job. But when you do massive recruitment,
a wholesale recruitment. I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So in addition, Nigeria needs to call for friends to come and assist us. There's no shame in asking for support from friendly nations. It will cut down our budget for security if other nations can just come, supply us intelligence, supply us equipment, so that we can. Technology is the need of it. We need of technology so that we can know who's coming in, who is going in. By the time we have Nigerian satellite, I don't know what the satellite is doing. We'll be able to monitor who's coming to Nigeria, who's coming to the state, and we'll do the needful. By the time we call in our friends of Nigeria, collaborate with them, our problem will be half solved. In addition to that, Uncle Yori, we need to ensure that the politicians who are playing politics with security should stop doing that. Security is not what we play politics with, because those who are attacking Nigerians are Nigerians, And I'm sure they are being sponsored. They are being encouraged in one way or the other for their political reasons. That is not what is good for a country. And that's why anybody can call us and call us any name, because we are not sure we are doing the right thing.
Okay.
But what is important is Nigeria should be alert. And not only calling for state police, we should have campus police, we should have local government police. I've traveled abroad on courses, and I've seen where the federal police, the state police, and local government police are working pari-passu without any hindrance in case of riot, because the local police know the environment. The local government police know you were born there. Most of them will have been born there. They know the in and out. The state will know the in and out before the federal power will come in. The federal police should work together with the state police, with local government police. Even campus police is possible in Nigeria. We know what happens in America, where you see every university has their own police. In the University of Ife University, we call the security in the university, we call them Aboyade Police. Happen to be the fourth vice chancellor of the university. When we call them Aboyade Police, they are more happy and they are ready to work better.
Okay.
So policing is local, and we must ensure that we have police at every facet of our life. Thank you, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much. Your Grace, Archbishop Chianson, you started off by, giving kudos to the president for, his efforts towards addressing this security situation that, everybody knows he inherited, but is not shying away from. And one just would hope that it would yield results, because we've heard before Tinubu's time, we've heard of, increase in police recruitment, and yet we are still where we are. Are you satisfied that there's a different attitude now to this whole matter of rescuing the country from the hands of those, you use the word and I endorse it, enemies of Nigeria, who are going around with their own story? Social media has changed the whole landscape, and they have their own listeners. They have their own listeners. But the president and his administration, you get the impression that they're doing all that they can do at the moment?
Well, the president, he's doing a very good job. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I want to say that he is very, very courageous. Now, you cannot say there will be a problem if the police recruit massively. The Nigerian police of today, have come a long way. They're not the same with the Nigerian police of yesterday. They have their training schools. They have their systems and processes. They have, their own recruitment processes, and they take care of most of these things. If you ask the Inspector General of Police to ensure that 30,000 police men, or youths are recruited, he will do it and do it professionally. Because, look, we must, know where our forces are at. Now, ditto the military as well, the Nigerian military, they've come a long way. They know how to handle things better. And we must also understand that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he is the chief security officer of the nation. Now, most times, when you are in that seat, before you make a decision, you are armed with so much information. So when he makes decisions, most times, he makes these decisions with the benefit of a lot of information, at his disposal. So Nigerians most times don't know these things. Now, I want to say that I'm proud of the fact that he's declared a state of emergency in the area of security. That simply means that the president, he is bent on ensuring that this issue is sorted out, done and dusted, probably before even the next elections. Now, I believe that, and I know that that's the reason for the state of emergency. It is constitutional that you and I know that the Section 305 of the Nigerian Constitution, grants that, the government can declare a state of emergency, in the nation where there is danger or disaster. What the state of emergency is all about is as government just suspends normal constitutional procedures in order to regain control. So this simply means that there's going to be, some other extraordinary steps that the government may take, and to make sure that they regain control. I just believe that, judging from, the steps this government's taken and the things he's been doing, cushioning the effects of poverty in the nation, and ensuring that the other day the president, cut short
we've
or
almost
he
run out of
suspended
time.
his trip.
Okay, we've almost run out of time.
Yes, very quickly.
Yes.
The other day, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I'm aware, he suspended his trip abroad to ensure that the issue of security is addressed in the nation. Now, we never had that with previous governments. Previous governments would travel abroad when the nation is on fire. So I really want to say kudos to him. And finally, I want to say that the nation, the leaders in the nation, the church leaders, what we need to do is to, support the government to bring out the best, that they have to offer. Now, that's all that we're calling for. We wouldn't ask for more.
We're going to have to leave it there. I want to thank you very much, Archbishop Chiva Chianson, Secretary General, Charismatic Bishops Conference of Nigeria, as well as General Secretary, Christian Association of Nigeria, Benue State Chapter. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on our program. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes.
I forgot to pre-inform Nigerians that the church have actually been doing so much too. We are gathering our people, we're gathering our officers, and we're talking to them. The charismatic bishops are also gathering people. We're talking to them. So we are not just sitting down. The leaders of the church, even next month, charismatic bishops will gather from all over Africa. We'll be talking to them, we'll be enlightening them, and we want the enlightenment campaign to continue. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Indeed, that's where we're going to have to leave it for today. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.